Hello everybody, today we are going to be making this really cute closed shell stitch bikini top. Hello everyone and welcome back to Sade Crochets. We are going to be making the matching top to these bikini bottoms that I just made. So for this tutorial, I'm again going to use the same yarn that I used in the last one, Yarn Bee Secret Soft in the color Violet. It is a medium weight 4 yarn. And then I'm also going to be using an F hook, which is a 3.75 millimeter hook. And then after that, you'll just need a pair of scissors. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's start off by making a slip knot. And the sizes available are double A, which also can be considered like a micro bikini top. And then we're doing A, B, C, D, and double D. So for the double A / micro bikini top, you're going to chain 20 chains. For an A cup is 26, for a B cup is 32, a C cup is 38, a D cup is 44, and a double D is 56. So I'm going to make the B cup today. So let's go ahead and chain out the amount of chains that you need for your desired size, and I will meet you there. So from here we're going to, I'm going to single crochet in the back bumps for mine. You definitely don't have to do that. But from here what we're going to do is skip one chain and then single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So I'm going to be going in the back bumps, but just make sure that you skip one chain there and single crochet into the second chain. So from here we're just going to be putting one single crochet in every stitch across. So at the end of this row, the microkini should have, or a double A cup should have 19 single crochets, and an A cup is 25, a B cup is 31, a C cup is 37, and a D cup is 43, and the double D is 55. So everybody should have one less single crochet in this row than the foundation chain. So go ahead and single crochet across, and I will meet you at the end of this row. Okay, so after you finish your amount of single crochets, what we're going to do next is chain one and turn. So in this first stitch, we will put a single crochet. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both. And now we're going to start on our shell stitch pattern. So we're going to skip two and then put a shell in this next stitch here. So by shell I mean 5 double crochets into the same stitch. So yarn over and then put a double crochet, and we're going to put 5 total. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, from there we're going to skip 2 and then single crochet into that next stitch, and then we're going to skip 2 and put another shell in the next stitch. So 5 double crochets there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to skip 2 and single crochet in that next stitch. So this is the pattern that repeats for this row. it's skip 2 single crochet, skip 2 shell, skip 2 single crochet all the way to the end, and your last stitch should be a single crochet. So I will meet you at the end of this row. All right, so I have 1 stitch left, so I did my shell, and then I'll skip 2 and single crochet into that very last stitch. And this is what it looks like so far. So from here, what we're going to do now is chain 2 and turn, and the chain 2 doesn't count for anything. And in this very first stitch, we're going to put a half shell, and I just call it a half shell, and by that I just mean putting 3 double crochets into the same stitch. So we'll put 3 double crochets here, so that's 1, 2, and 3. From there, we're going to skip 2 and then single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and then from there, we're going to skip 2 stitches again and put a shell into on top of this single crochet below. So we're going to put 5 double crochets into that stitch to make a shell. That's 3, 4, and 5. From there, we'll skip 2 and single crochet and skip 2 more, 1, 2, and another shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this pattern is going to repeat. So go ahead and repeat this pattern until you have 3 stitches left, and I'll meet you there. So I'm coming up on my very end of the row, so I'm going to skip 2 more and put another single crochet. And now I have 3 stitches left, so I'm going to skip 2, and in this last stitch put a half shell like we did in the beginning. So I'm going to put 3 double crochets there. So 1, 2, and 3. So that's what it looks like so far. And from here we're going to chain 1 and turn. And in this very first stitch here, we'll put a single crochet. And in the next stitch, we're going to skip 2, and in this next on top of this next single crochet, we'll put another shell. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to skip 2 and put another single crochet. So this row is actually like row 1. We're just skipping 2 and doing a shell, and then skipping 2 more, and then putting a single crochet. 3, 4, and 5, and then skip 2 and single crochet. So it's just like row 2. It's just like that previous row 2. So go ahead and finish this same pattern. Your last stitch should be a single crochet there, and I will meet you at the end of this row. Okay, so I did my last shell and I have 3 stitches left, so I'll skip 2 and then single crochet into this last stitch. So everyone should kind of have this shell, but it should be kind of going straight up at this point. And now we're going to begin our repeat rows. So The rows that we're repeating, this was row 1 through 4 so far. We're going to be repeating 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so here's your repeat row. This is the first one, which is row 5. We're going to chain 1 and turn. And we're not going to use this first stitch. We're going to skip that first stitch, and then we're going to do a 3-way single crochet decrease. And by that I mean we're going to insert our hook into this second stitch, pull up a loop, insert into this next stitch, pull up a loop, and then insert into this third stitch and pull up a loop. So you should have 4 loops on your hook, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4. So that was a 3-way single crochet decrease. We turned 3 of them into 1, but we also skipped this first stitch as well. Okay, so from here we're going to skip 2 stitches and do a shell in this next stitch. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, from there we'll skip 2 and single crochet. So we're kind of back on our regular closed shell stitch pattern here in the middle. So skip 2, shell, skip 2, single crochet, and repeat that all the way until you have 6 stitches left in this row. So I will meet you there when we have 6 stitches left. Okay, so I have ended with my shell and I have 6 stitches left here. So to end row 5, what we're going to do is skip 3. So 1, 2, 3, we're skipping 3 this time. And in the last 3 stitches, we're going to put a 3-way single crochet decrease. So I'm going to insert my hook into that first stitch, pull up a loop, insert into the second stitch, pull up a loop, and insert into the third stitch and pull up a loop. And now you should have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 4. And that is row 5. Okay, so for row 6, what we're going to do is chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. And that was our decreasing row. So now we're going to put a half shell into this first stitch. So 3 double crochets into the first stitch, 1, 2, and 3, and then skip 2 and single crochet, skip 2, shell, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so that pattern is going to repeat. So we're going to do skip 2 and single crochet, skip 2, shell, skip 2, single crochet, skip 2, shell, all the way to the end. And your final above your previous shell of the row below, that's a single crochet, and then in the then you skip 2, and just like the beginning of this row, we did a half shell, so we're going to put a half shell at the end of this row. All right, so I did my single crochet and I just have my half shell left, and that is the end of row 6 and 3. And so that's what it looks like so far. And now we're going to start row 7, which is the last row of our repeat. So chain 1 and turn. And in this row, we're going to put a single crochet into the first stitch, skip 2, and a shell. So this row is pretty much straightforward. um, we're back to the regular closed shell stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this row across is going to be single crochet, skip 2 shell, skip 2 single crochet, skip 2 shell. So that's going all the way across, and your final stitch here should be a single crochet. So go ahead and continue this pattern until the end of the row, and I will meet you there. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. So from here, we're going to be repeating rows 5, 6, and 7. So row 5 was that row that we skipped. We skipped one, so chain 1, turn. Row 5 was skip 1, skip that first stitch, and do the 3-way single crochet decrease. So we're pretty much going to repeat 5 through 7. And let's see. So if you're making the double A / micro bikini top, you're going to be finished with this repeat already when you get to row 7. If you're making an A cup, you're going to repeat this until you finish row 10. If you are making a B cup, you're going to continue this repeat until you finish row 13. For a C cup, you're going to go until row 16, a D cup until 19, and a double D is going to continue repeating until you hit row 21. So go ahead and finish your repeats as needed for your size, and I will meet you there. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. Everyone at this point should have, after they're done with their repeats, everyone should have just 2 shells in that last row. You'll have a single crochet here and a single crochet here, but you just have 2 shells there. Okay, so that's the end of the repeats. And now for the next row, we will chain 1 and turn. And in this row, we're going to skip 1 and then do our 3-way decrease again. So this is similar to the repeat, but a few things did change. Okay, so we do our 3-way decrease, and then we skip 2 and do a shell in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then from there we're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and do a 3-way decrease at the end. So this is very similar to that row 5 that we did. Okay, and then from there we will chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. And from here we're going to put a half shell in this first stitch. So 3 double crochets here, 1, 2, and 3. And then we'll skip 2 and single crochet, and then skip 2 and do another half shell. So, and that should be the last stitch of this row. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that's what it looks like now. And from here we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we'll put a single crochet into this first stitch, and then skip 2 and do a shell in the middle. So 5 double crochets into the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then skip 2 and single crochet into this last stitch. Okay, and now from here what we're going to do next is chain 1 and turn, and we're going to single crochet into this first stitch. So single crochet and then skip 2 and put a shell on top of this shell, just right on top of it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then skip 2 and single crochet in the last stitch. All right, from here what we're going to do is go ahead and chain 1 and cut and tie. All right, so this is what it looks like so far. And the next thing we're going to do is start on our ties and our border. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and make a slip knot. And the length of these ties are based on if you consider yourself small, medium, large, or 1X. So the first thing we're going to do is just make a long chain. So if you're a small, I would recommend 125 chains. For a medium, do 150 chains. A large can do 175, and a 1X can do 200 chains. So go ahead and chain out as many chains as you need for your size, and I will meet you there. All right, so I finished my 125 chains. Now I'm going to slip stitch my chain to the bottom corner. You can pick either of the bottom corners. This is the outside tie that goes around towards the back. So I'm going to pick this corner with this tail on it, because that way it could be not in the middle. So what I want to do before I attach this is I'm actually going to, because this is a slip knot, I'm going to just pull it a little bit open, and I don't want this to come open later, like if someone's washing it or wearing it or whatever, or if it gets snagged on something. So I'm just going to go 1 stitch over and make a quick knot. I'm just always so scared about some of my knots coming out. So I'm just going to make a quick knot before I attach it. Okay, so now I'm going to insert my hook into the corner and then slip stitch this to that corner. Okay, and in this first stitch I'm going to put a single crochet. I'm going to pull this a little bit tight if I can. Okay, and then from here I'm going to single crochet along the side of these rows. So I don't really have a good formula for it because these rows kind of intertwine with each other. So I would just recommend spreading them out as much as you can. Try not to make them too close or too spread out. It might be a good idea to count how many you do here, because you can try to match that same amount on the other side. That's if you are a perfectionist. You can definitely count these and try to get the same amount on the other side. If not, you can just eyeball it and keep going, but just line this, and we're gonna go until we reach, so at the top there's 5 double crochets in this top stitch here. We're gonna single crochet on down until we get to the second one. So we're gonna leave that third one without a stitch. So just do the first 2 and I'll meet you there. All right, so I did weave over my first tail from the bottom. If this tail is on the same side as the other tail, and you're going upwards towards it, I wouldn't worry about weaving over this because we can't really weave over it long enough before it's done. So I'm just gonna leave that one out and just crochet until the second stitch of the shell at the top. So once you reach your shell at the top, now we're going to make a top tie to go around the neck. So sizes small and medium can chain out 100 here, and a large can do 125 and an extra large can do 140. So go ahead and chain out the amount of chains you need to go around the neck, and I will meet you there. Okay, so I chained out my 100 chains, and now I'm going to go ahead and cut and tie off here. And that's what it looks like. I'm gonna cut this little tail that I weaved over, and I'll weave that second tail in later. Okay, so now we're gonna do the inside tie. This is the tie that goes around the back. This is the tie that goes around the neck. And now we're gonna do this inner tie, which is much longer because it wraps around the body. But this time I do want my border to still face on the same side. So I'm gonna have to start at the top and go back down towards the bottom. So what I'm gonna do next is start a new tie by chaining out the same amount of chains that I did at the top. So I did 100 here, large did 125, and extra large did 140, small and medium did 100. So whatever you did, go ahead and chain out that same amount, and I will meet you there and show you what's next. All right, so I finished my tie, my chain, and so what I'm gonna do is now, so at the top we stopped at the second single crochet, so we're not gonna attach to this middle one. We're gonna go one over to the fourth of the 5 and then slip stitch there, excuse me. So I'm going to insert my hook into that 4th stitch of the shell and then slip stitch, and then I'm going to put a single crochet into that same stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to single crochet my way down to the bottom corner. So I'm going to go all the way down until I reach this corner. So go ahead and single crochet on down, and I will meet you there. All right, so I have single crocheted all the way down, and now what I'm going to do is make my inner tie. So for size small, you can chain out 250 chains. For medium is 275, for large is 300, and for a 1X is 325. So go ahead and chain out the amount of chains that you need for your size, and I will meet you there and show you what's after that. All right, so I've made my chain of 250. And from here, you can go ahead and cut and tie off. And so, let's see. There's a lot of strings happening. There we go. So this longer tie is goes towards the middle of the brow cup, and the shorter tie goes towards the back. So you're gonna go ahead and repeat all these steps for your second cup. Okay, so you're gonna go ahead and repeat this pattern for your second cup, and I'm gonna show you the mistake that I just made, so I'm gonna have to take my ties out and redo them. But this is how you do your ties. That is correct. But when you do your second cup, you want to mirror the sides. So you want to put, for example, I put my long tie on the left and my short tie on the right. And this short tie goes around the back, and this long tie goes towards the middle of the chest here. So you want to make sure that you mirror that when you do your second cup. So I did both cups with my border facing me, with my long tie on the same side as the other one. So technically I have two right brow cups here. What you want is, if you don't care about the border facing you, that's fine. But you want your border facing you so that this is to the left and this one is to the right. So just make sure that whatever you did over here, just mirror it over here so that your border can still be facing you. I don't know if you can tell, this is the back side of my border and this is the front side, and the stitches are clearly facing me. So you can't really, I mean, I could wear it myself, but I wouldn't be able to sell that because it's mismatched. So that's just a fair warning. That's the only thing to look out for with this pattern. Other than that, once you repeat your second cup, you will be all finished. And anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave me a comment if you like this video. Make sure you check out the bikini bottoms that match this top, and make sure to make that with this top. It's a really cute stitch. And thank you guys so much, and I will catch you on the next video.